Hey, it's your co-hosts Haley and Caitlin popping in with a little motivation to get your week started off right.
Hello, happy Monday. Welcome back to Thriving in Wellness for your Motivational Monday episode. This week, we are talking all about self-sabotage, something that I think most people who have ever had a health goal, especially like a weight loss goal, might be familiar with. So since this theme, this season is all about trusting your body or trusting yourself. Sure, trusting your body as well, but learning to trust yourself, I think self-sabotage is a big piece of that because a lot of times it's a lack of self-trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can stem from so many different areas, that's causing this self-sabotage. So, I think one of the big ones is when people aren't seeing results fast enough. They're like, oh, this isn't working. My body isn't doing what it's supposed to do, and I need to change course. When really you just have to stick with what you're doing for a long time, not just a little bit longer, a long time.
Yeah, and of course, like you want to see some changes, you want to feel some success, right? That's how we kind of keep motivated, but we can't just rely on, we've talked about this in other episodes, we can't just rely on the scale constantly changing or constantly feeling so great every single day because you're still human, you're still living a life. And so this is where I think diets for sure, fad diets and things like that definitely feed into the self-sabotage vicious cycle. So yeah, definitely I see that with a lot of people, and especially if you are going at it alone and not, you don't have any support or accountability for someone who can be like, no, you need to just pause, take a breath, give it a minute and stick with it. Because oftentimes when we're doing things in a healthier way, it takes a bit longer. And along with that, I think that feeds into the fear of success. And I think this is a really interesting one. So have you run across that of people actually being almost like fearful of seeing changes?
I can't say that I've seen it in like a conscious standpoint,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's a little bit more subconscious. Whether it's like they've been dealing with these like lifelong gut issues,
Mhm.
and they just, I don't know if it's just that they're so defeated
Mhm.
that they're like worried about getting their hopes up that
Yeah.
there might actually be that success because they've not had success for so long, even though they've tried, in ways.
Yeah. I think an interesting thing I've seen is definitely, I don't think it's ever been like, oh yeah, they come to me and say, I'm afraid of actually losing weight or I'm afraid of feeling better. Like
Sure.
no one would say that usually. But when we dig into it, it's almost like if they've struggled with these things, whether it be their weight or their gut or autoimmune diseases for so long, it's become part of them and it's almost a part of their identity. And
Mhm.
this is where I feel like therapy can be really useful in these situations to help work through some of that. Because if there's a part of you that's resistant to that change, then your body is going to respond accordingly, right? There's a huge connection between our brains and our bodies. So how we're thinking, our internal dialogue, all that is going to impact our results. But on the flip side, I think more so of what I see is unsure doubt if the program's actually going to work. So it's not necessarily like fear of being successful, but it's doubt like, is this actually going to be successful?
Yes, yeah, for sure. And I definitely see that as well. Um, I also see this, and this is, a little bit off, but like people feeling like they feel so guilty about spending time on
Mm.
themselves.
Mainly with
Especially,
moms.
yes, I was just gonna say, especially with moms.
100%.
So yes, a lot of emotions to work through when you're, you know, trying to make progress and actually spend time focusing on your health and trying to make these changes.
Yeah, well, it can be such a large investment, not only for some people financially, but time, energy, right? It takes a lot of mental energy and physical energy to make these sorts of changes and to commit to something like that. And so I think that's understandable, especially if you run through the gamut of all these different protocols and things like that. So I know when we work with people, like we definitely hear them out on that and understand, like, if you're fearful of something, we want to work together and work through that. But that can also lead to more of that self-sabotage, because if maybe this is the plan that's going to do the trick for you, right?
Mhm.
But if you're fearful of even getting started, you're not going to see those changes.
Yep, absolutely. So take some time to kind of let that stew in your brain for a little bit, and check in with yourself and see if you are doing any self-sabotage that is preventing you from getting the progress and success that you're looking for.
Yeah, and I want to take that a step further. Once you've kind of reflected on that, what is the next step for you? Is it reaching out to have some sort of support, whether it be a dietitian, a therapist, a friend, a family member, that sort of thing, where you can just kind of talk it through? Maybe it's just journaling. Anywhere where you can get these thought patterns out of your brain, I think can be really powerful. So with that being said, we will see you on Thursday.